Yes. Can you hear me? Yeah, all right. I feel like you called there. Okay. So that's it. That's all I had to say for today. I appreciate you guys coming out and listening to me. But first I want to tell you that this is cool. Yeah. Got a little snappy with this. Well, first let me tell you the three stories. One of Starberg, started our program when he was 16 years old. He was about to drop out of high school. We put him in our program once every Friday. He came down playing basketball. Now he's 22 years old. He runs the program, and he's one of our best 10 organizers at CUFFH. Whenever they say the youth is the future, we like to say the future is now. And so we want to empower our youth. We want to make sure they understand their homes, they understand their families, and that they take action as young as possible and as soon as possible. So as an example of our organization, embracing the youth and making sure they're out there, and then the ones organizing the buildings that they live in. The second part was Ms. Harding and a few other tenants that actually went to court today in Brooklyn Housing Court, where the judge was thankfully fired up. We saw Ms. Harding and the tenants. So it's going to be a long process, but today was the first step at court. They were excited to be there, and they're little stars in this video. They feel good that we're with them. We're partnered with Brooklyn Legal Services Corporation A, which is awesome attorneys. They're free attorneys, and they have Harvard grads, and they come to Brooklyn and they want to work hard after Harvard. So that's an amazing thing. The final story, you saw Melissa Herrera. Is Melissa here, right? She didn't leave, right? It was Melissa. Everybody give a round of applause to Melissa. She's not doing the Pokemon Go. She's doing the tweet for us right now, and Facebook. She keeps our social media active. I don't even know what Pokemon Go is. Just say that. And for the good stuff, we wanted to tell you how to get an apartment. Melissa said in the video, there's hope. And we want to make sure we show you a little bit of that hope. So today we're going to teach you some tips and tricks. And finally, how not to compete with 100,000 people every week. I'll show you how to compete with just a few hundred people and how to score one of those affordable apartments that everyone's desiring on the waterfront of Williamsburg and in Bushwick and Wilbur. So first we'll start with CUFFH. As you saw in the video, we're churches, but we're not religious, so I don't know how that works. But we get all together with all these different churches, and we open our doors to everyone. Somehow we like to, this is the YMCA, we're like what we think the YMCA should have been, this place where you just go and you show up and you do what you want, play basketball, do some housing, do some parties, do some Sweet 16s. All the churches do it. We're always at the forefront of every Sweet 16. We're there for you, and we're still affordable housing now. And that's what we do at CUFFH. We moved away from Sweet 16s. The affordable housing, if you ever looked at this stuff, Housing Connect online, right? It shows you all these different applications. It's super easy. You can do it from your bed, you can do it at work, you can do it at lunch. You just hit apply, and then you get this number back that says you're number 57,000 or 105,000, and you're like, yes, I'm close. So the way it goes about is usually if you make more than 18,000 a year, which is most of the folks in this room. But if you make less than 18,000 a year, it gets a little tricky. There's only one solution for you. If you make less than 18,000 a year, you apply for NYCHA, and you wait 10 years, and a decade from now, you may be unemployed. And so that's the only solution for people that make less than 18,000. However, we have a different strategy at CUFFH, so for the people helping out there, you can team up with another family member. And that's what most people are doing anyway. They're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 deep in one apartment, and so they're all living together. So instead of taking 8 of you into another apartment, you can take another person. And so someone that makes 12,000, another person makes 10,000, then you can actually qualify for an apartment. This is the number one misconception. You always think that you're applying for the building. You're not applying for the building. You're applying for one of the line items in that building. And if you don't fall into that category, you will automatically disqualify yourself. So for example, let's say you make $32,351, but you don't like saying that. You like saying I make $35,000 because you just want to be cool. Say I make $35,000. I don't make $32,351. Actually, if you make $32,351, you actually may qualify for that building. But if you put $35,000, you overqualify. And so when you put those bigger numbers, no one disqualifies you except yourself. So every time you look for a building, if you're somewhere in a category, throw yourself in that category and let them figure it out later. So whenever you apply online, just double check the ad. The ad's super important. Find your line item, how many people in your family. find your income level, the range, and throw yourself into that range exactly. So let's say you make 36 and it says 35, you should put 34.9 and then figure it out later. Usually you never make what you think you make. In the history of the 15 years at CUFFH, everybody gets their income wrong. Nobody knows what they make. So just let them do it at the interview process, but don't deny yourself. The Section 8, if you have Section 8 or HASA, LINK, so many acronyms these days, whatever you got that helps you pay for your rent, you don't have to have the income that they show here. You don't have to be any of the income. You automatically qualify. So anyone that's helping folks out there who have Section 8 or any type of rental assistance, you never have to worry about the income levels. You automatically qualify for any of the apartments. And then, so if you make between 18 and 60,000, we'll talk about affordable housing, right? So what's affordable? Affordable to whom we saw in the video. It's 30% of your income. And so what's your income? It could be 18,000, it could be 60,000. My staff keeps showing this side. It could be from 60,000 to 180,000. So if you make anything between 18,000 to 180,000, we can help you. If you make 185,000, you're on your own. So less than that, we got you back. So anywhere between 18,000 to 180,000. The harder group to help is between the 18 to 60,000. The easiest group to help, the ones that have all the pickings in the world, are between 60,000 and 180,000. Those are most of the buildings going up in downtown Brooklyn for the next 4 years. It's about 1,000 units going up, and they're mostly between 60,000 and 110,000. So if you make that and you want to live in one of the skyscrapers in downtown Brooklyn, there's a big category of that there. There's also categories between 18 and 60 in downtown Brooklyn and throughout the city of New York, but then you're dealing with a bigger pool of people, right? You're dealing with hundreds of thousands of people, and if you're in this category, you're dealing with 1,000 to 500 people. That's the drop off in the income levels and the people you're dealing with. But I do have a solution for people who make 18 to 60, where you're not dealing with hundreds of thousands, you're only dealing with a few hundred. We'll get to that at the end. So, financial independence is the most funnest part of it all. The people that are with somebody for 20 years, you guys are together, you know you're together, you know everything about each other except two things: the passcode to his phone and his social security number. So if you don't know those two things in New York City, they don't care about the passcode to the iPhone, but they definitely care about social security number. So you have to match your social security numbers, you have to have a checking account, a bank statement, something that ties you together financially. If you do not have that, you're not together. So if you apply for housing, they will consider you friends and they will deny you immediately. So if you want to do this, and you've been trying to do this with your partner, your spouse, your cousin, whoever it is, or whomever it is, you have to be financially interdependent. So it's a fancy word. We think it's fancy, but it's very simple. Take your social security number, match it with someone else, and if you're willing to match your social security number with someone else, then the city thinks it's really real, and you're really together. If you don't do that, it's not real. So, and the iPhone passcode doesn't help you, just in case. Don't say that to your partner tonight. Rob said, give me your iPhone passcode now. The P.O. box is interesting. If you have a mom like I do, and you're living with your mom, I'm not living with my mom, but if you're living with your mom and she opens all your mail, you don't want to open your mail, there's a section just for moms. There's a P.O. box where you want to put your mail so she doesn't open your mail. So there is the section there. HPD is looking out for you. There's a special section where you just put where you want to receive your mail. It could be at work, it could be at another friend's house, wherever it is. That's the mom section, I call it. You can put the address there, and then of course, the main address is very important, because that address on the top for people on the right, my right, your left. On top, that's your main address, is very important. This is going to get to the preference that I'm going to talk about in a second. So make sure you put where you are living. Now it gets very tricky, because sometimes you're not technically living somewhere, because you're not supposed to be there. But you're kind of sleeping there, you're resting. Wherever you're resting your head, that's the address that you're putting on top. And wherever you want to receive your mail, that's the P.O. box in the bottom, right? So just think mom. The preference. So the 50% preference, that big preference that you get, it has to do with your address. That's why the address is super, super important. So when you're competing, when you get the 100,005 or the 95,000 number on Housing Connect, the 50%, what it doesn't tell you is where you're really at. So if you're number 10,000, 15,000, you could be number 5 in the local community board. It will never show you that. So the 50% is really, really important, that you're writing the address that you are living in, and that's where you get the preference, right? So make sure you do that. And there's also 5% for city workers, teachers, sanitation, all that other stuff. And there's also 5 to 2% for mobility impaired and visually impaired. Those are the hardest to fill, and some people don't put that in. If anyone in the family has mobility impaired and visually impaired, they get a preference in the building, and they're the hardest to fill. So if you ever want to live with your grandpa, go get him and live with him. Grandpa, I love you. And you have a 2% preference. And it's totally legal. So, Housing Connect, my favorite, non-favorite website in the history of websites. It is totally not user-friendly. It is a clunky website, but it has tons of info. You can sit through it and be patient and go through. Sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes it does work, and sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes it does. You get power through it. Housing Connect is the easiest way to find affordable housing in New York City. But here's the trick that I've been talking about. What happens after the buildings lease up, right? Because there's new buildings every week, and so they get filled up this year. What happens 5 years from now when that new building needs to rent an apartment again? They don't go back to the lottery list. They have to fill them individually on their own. And so there's thousands and thousands and thousands of apartments that have to get filled on their own, no lottery, and just a straight up waiting list. So you can go to Housing Connect, compete with 100,000 people, go for it. And then after this, is what you do is, I'm going to teach you the trick. You go into Housing Connect's website, and they're going to show you all those different addresses. You make sure you save all those different addresses, and then you Google them a year from now. And they're going to show up, and the management company is going to show up. And that management company has its own separate website with its own separate application for that building. And so when he wants to do the vacancy, it's not going back to Housing Connect. It's looking at your little application that you sent to their your website. And that's going to be the application that gets sent. So most of the people we help when you come to our office, we go to Housing Connect because that's the default, that's the holy grail, that's where you go first. And then we do all the other website tricks. We got up to 25 different management companies that manage thousands and thousands of buildings in New York City, and they're dying to fill their units, and they have vacancies throughout. And they're just looking for you, maybe not you. I don't know. Credit. Credit is the #1 issue of denial. I love this one. I have good credit, but my partner has bad credit, so that means we have both good credit. Wrong. We both have bad credit. So I have good credit, my girl has great credit, and then her 18-year-old daughter has bad credit, but we have good credit. Wrong. We all have bad credit. So anyone that's over 18 in the household that doesn't have 650 or more, it's like a ballpark 650. If you don't have 650 or more, you're in bad shape. So the best thing to do is don't do these things. One, do not cancel your credit cards, which is the first thing you're gonna do when you go home. You cancel my Old Navy card, my Treasured Victoria's Secret card, and all those cards that you got. Don't do that. You hold all your cards, and what you do is you go to your local federal credit union. Yes, I said credit union. Your local federal credit union, those are the real old school bankers. They'll text you, they'll call you, and they'll show you exactly what you should do. It costs $20 to pull your credit report, and they'll train you on exactly how you should handle and get you up to more than 650. But here's the first technique. If you have 5 credit cards, and one of them is your JetBlue American Express, and you use that because you want the JetBlue points, and that's $10,000 of credit limit, and you use 9,500 of it because you want all the points, you're using more than 30% of your credit card. So make it very easy for you. That's $1,000, you're only supposed to use $300 of $1,000. It seems weird, but you're only supposed to use $300 of the $1,000 limit, not go all the way to the limit. So if you have 5 credit cards, try to spread your credit differently. I got 2 minutes left. Just don't use your credit cards. And pay, not the minimum. And then finally, thanks to Melissa, we're on social media, on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter. Snapchat yet? Not yet, but we're gonna get to Snapchat. Instagram is my favorite. We have the most followers there than any small nonprofit. I think we're up to 500 and something. Very proud to say that, even though I have no facts to back it. But I think we're strong in Instagram. So you can follow us. It's very simple. It's CUFFH, Churches United for Fair Housing CUFF. You can find us there. You can find me, Rob Solano, NYC on Twitter. Or just, I'm the first Rob Solano. You put Rob Solano, I'm gonna be there. And so Churches United for Housing, we do this every day, but if you missed something, or I spoke too fast, or I only got 30 seconds left, I want to put a plug for our Tuesday night. So every single Tuesday night, we do all the tricks I just showed you. If you want to take a photo of that, it has where we are. We're in Fort Greene, super easy to get there. There's a Starbucks, there's small mom and pops, there's a Chipotle, but someone says they don't want a Chipotle anymore. But anyway, there's all those different places there. You can eat, come by at 6:30 every single night. We teach you all the tricks that we just taught you now. We'll sit down with you, we'll fill out the application with you, and we'll show you all those different management companies that I was telling you about. And if there's a Q&A session, I'll tell you 2 of them during the Q&A session. 2 of them are my favorite websites, and they usually have about 50 listings, and usually they're all vacant, and they're all over New York City. So that's my time. Again, I'm Rob Solano from CUFFH, and thank you so much.